So, India and Luke, and missing Dan, you had the genre of
Hip Hop R&B, but
hip hop R&B, but you've changed fully to hip hop.
Yeah.
Now, can you tell us about your first idea? That I kind of put the kibosh on by accident.
Yeah, we had the idea of using something like Lil Wayne's, his first album, the fact that we had him as a little kid. So we were going to do that, but then we got told that we had to take the picture ourselves, so that kind of put us back a couple of lessons.
So we had to redo it and think of new ideas. And then we sort of gathered ideas from T.I., Eminem, and I think it's Drake's CD covers where they have, the majority of it's their face and it uses a lot of editing to make it the actual cover instead of just a photo of a face. So we thought it would be effective if we had it black and white, lots of editing, shadows. We pixelated it to make it look even more edited and sort of unrealish technology side, which we think was effective.
I think the reason why a lot of the artists use have just their image is because obviously it's just them, because if they're moving into the more rap area, it's more about their lives, so it's not about anything else. That's why there's no sort of props, it's just them and their experiences. And
so you've gone for the sort of traditional hip hop, which is all about him as opposed to where he came from.
Yeah. We were trying to edge away from this is my life, I grew up in the city, more towards the actual artist and what he does. We named him BJB.
Couldn't really think of much else, and just Benji Baxter, and then BJB. You know,
we like the idea of like the initials.
We weren't sure whether to go with a G or
a J.
But can I ask why you chose why the album's called V1?
The volume 1.
Yeah.
We use the Roman numerals to stick with the sort of BJB abbreviated style.
Yeah, I like the abbreviated style, it's good.
We sort of flowed on from the fact that he may think that he's going to get more albums, link it all together, and then have
like part of his life, like volume 1, it's just like the first chapter of his life, and then obviously the other ones will just be like
is that throwing it out to the audience, is that a hip hop convention, the idea of naming your albums the first one? Or the first one, or the...
There's also rap as well, isn't it?
Yeah, rap and R&B and hip-hop, both, they do that quite a lot. I think Eminem's first one was the Marshall Mathers LP, and then the other one was the Slim Shady LP, and then I think he just gave up, he ran out of names.
And then like sticking to Lil Wayne, his ones are called like Number 1, The Charter, and then they all go on to like 7 and 8. And as well, we stuck to the parental advisory thing, because obviously that's very iconic with hip hop and R&B.
Approval rating way up for including that one, because why would you have a parental advisory aside from the obvious legal connotation?
It gives it, because of the image you're trying to get across. It's just like people are going to want it more because it's rude or bad. So you're going to make the younger audiences really want it and go out and buy it.
Why did you choose that font?
We chose it because it looked like a mix between standard font and then graffiti, because he's not sort of like a rapper on the streets, graffiti style. We chose that mix because it's easy to read, and as well it sticks to his sort of iconic image that he's trying to portray.
It doesn't. I didn't want anything too fancy, because I didn't want to pull anything away from actually what we wanted people to focus on, which was just actually his face and all the editing around it. We kind of just wanted people to look at that. So yeah, I mean, it was just something a little bit different as well, rather than just standard text.
Why did you choose the costume you did, or the lack of costume? Why did you break away from the sort of standard hip-hop style?
To try and separate it, like bring himself away from like mainstream. So it's like the tie is sort of like
completely defies.
It's sort of a big contrast between like the parental advisory thing, because that's sort of bad boy. Yeah, he's got like a tie and a shirt on.
Maybe trying to build that mix between good and bad, trying to prove that he's something new and different, break away from the normal chain.
Are we impressed?
I'm impressed.
Let's get some audience feedback here. What do you particularly like about the Digipak?
No colour.
No colour? Keep going. Is there anything you're not sure of? No? Amelia? Yeah. Let's see the back.
I would have gone for version 2 instead of version 1 because I think
What's the first one? So obviously you're not going to call the first one the second one.
But you might call it Volume 2 as a marketing gimmick. You're not far wrong there. An idea of a marketing gimmick. I know a few artists who've released the second one. It's known as Star Wars syndrome. They released Volume 4 first.
Yeah.
So if it was successful, you always had the room to make 1, 2 and 3 to make more money.
Fair enough, yeah.
Right, let's have a look at the back.
We stuck to the same sort of idea, black and white, dark tones, pixelated, and we chose the idea of having the back of his head so it looks like you can see the 360 view of him. He's not hiding anything. Again, we placed the barcode, the record company, and the little BlackBerry.
The BlackBerry tag. I just felt.
BlackBerry, yes, nice inclusion. Why the BlackBerry tag?
I sort of felt like it would like bring it. You can be more in touch with like the consumer, and also it makes it a little bit more now because that's what everything seems to have.
Break up that
them on.
sort of gap between consumer and producer.
How many of you are going to take this idea forward into your own work?
A moment of pure truth.
Yes, sorry. For the sake of the tape, Luke gets credit for including the BlackBerry barcode.
Last moment thing.
Yeah,
Props
that's
to
all
me.
right. But it is something to consider because legal jargon and things that you have on all the CDs that you don't really think about and all DVDs actually have a lot of meaning for the audience. Barcode means it can be bought in a mainstream shop. The BlackBerry code means that there's more stuff to play with online. And in a time when how many of you actually would say you listen to CDs more than you listen to your iPod? 3, and even then you have to think about it. Most of you own CDs and DVDs because it's something to have rather than actual music. So you need that extra thing. What does the Digipak give you that's extra? I bought a Digipak purely for the cover before. I'm not interested in the music, I got it on electronic, but I just wanted the special edition disc with all the little leaflets and booklets. Okay, carry on. What about the font, the numbers down the side?
We chose to have it pretty simple. Obviously we didn't fill in the rest of the names. We chose to almost make it look like it was a bit odd, the shapes, some of the numbers are bigger than the other, to make it look like it's not always standard, it's not always going to be the same, you get a bit of variety.
What I would change about the back is I'm not too keen seeing it now on the whiteness of the backgrounds of the numbers and names. I think that's partly because we sort of ran out of time. Secondly, I'm not really sure how you can change the colours of it to make it actually blend in with the back cover.
I figured it out, but then I forgot it, so we couldn't
so
remember how to. There's something to do with burning it, which is what we used on the effect, which is like the black parts of him. If you can burn over it, it makes it darker to blend in with it more. We didn't like the fact that it just stood out that much.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? Why did you choose Benji?
We think he has that sort of look towards him, not the stereotype, but the archetype that comes with someone that's interested in hip hop, but not bad boy hip hop, if you know what I mean. I can't describe
quite
it.
misunderstood as well, isn't he? Because he's actually quite a nice chap, but can be a bit of a prick sometimes. So.
Alright, okay. But was it something to do with, was it the look, was it the attitude, or?
Yeah, I was going to say the fact as well that the facial expression that he pulled on the first one was really the sort of thing that we were looking for. We didn't want someone to smile at the camera, and we knew that he could pull off that sort of style.
Mm-hmm. So it was more about the portrayal of attitude.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Why no background?
We chose to have it in front of a white one, so it was plain, so the whole attention goes straight onto the artist. And then from that white background we could edit it to do whatever we wanted with it. We had a lot of different ideas, so that left room for changes.
Let's throw it open. Any critiques? Okay, Lawrence?
Is he underground or mainstream?
Don't really know.
He's sort of. I think he's. It would be. He's just come out of the underground, trying to break into mainstream, just because of the fact that we've put on like the BlackBerry, so just trying to make it more accessible to the people, the consumers.
Yeah.
Now, this is the interesting thing here. Me putting you on the spot like this has made you think far more about signs and symbols than you realise. I mean, John, who professed to know nothing about codes and conventions, actually said some very decent stuff about indie rock.
and also we've got the Def Jam record label.
Yeah, why Def Jam? Or was you just pick out?
It was pretty much picked out, but also Def Jam do
Hip Hop R&B.
hip hop R&B.
They're quite an established
so that
group.
also shows that he's actually been noticed by an established record label.
I was going to say the fact
It's
that
not
it's
just
the
an
big
established
label.
record label.
Yes.
It's not the big one.
No, it's not
Although
the
it is
biggest, but I'm
actually-
saying it's still big enough to make him pull into mainstream.
And
Although
it's
you're
special.
all with your cynical hats on, you know all too well that Def Jam's owned by one of the big five.
Yeah.
It's just it prefers, it's a franchise. Okay, thank you very much. Nicely pulled together. Okay, next group, Benji.
It's starting recording. Talk about is that reading?
A minute. Oh.